Well, we are not done yet. After listening to all this, you're already thinking climate change sounds like a real party pooper, something that's gonna destroy the fun, and it is in fact a spoiled sport. There are many examples. Here are a couple. On August 18, 2011, in the Belgian town of Hasselt, the Pukkelpop music festival is in full swing. In the blazing sun, the temperature gets up to 28 degrees centigrade. There is a forecast for stormy weather, but no one is worried. They are just enjoying the music and the sun, wearing shorts and light t-shirts. Thousands of people are watching their favorite bands playing, and then suddenly the sky turns dark, and they are not used to such things. The rain pours and the wind howls. Big hailstones fall from the sky. Remember, we said climate change can make the hailstones more probable and make them bigger, because the air can go up and down, and the ice particles can coalesce and grow and drop like rocks on people's head. In panic, the festival goers run into tents which collapse under the force of the wind and the rain. 5 people died that day. The rest of the festival was, of course, cancelled. On October 12, 2018, at the Desert Days in Southern California, Tame Impala is playing their first song. The lights show, however, is being taken over by nature. Lightning strikes all around the festival area. After 15 minutes, the band leaves the stage. Threatening clouds roll in, and event organizers issue a warning. Due to safety concerns regarding the dangerous weather, we are asking the guests to immediately exit Desert Days grounds and return to their cars and seek shelter. We ask that you stay in your cars and remain calm. Well, with anxious faces, the festival goers do as they have been told. The grass turns into mud, but fortunately no one was injured, but the party was spoiled anyway. Was the bad weather at these music festivals the fault of climate change? As usual, we can't tell for certain. Storms like that happen, they have happened before, and they will happen again, and they happened even before the invention of the steam engine. So there are lots more people now and a lot more festivals, of course, but storms do happen more often because of climate change. As we said, the atmosphere gets hot and thirsty, loads itself up with more moisture, and the winds are going up and down and creating rain, but also heavy rain and hail and so on. As you will notice, when sports matches and games are cancelled more often, or festivals or other outdoor events also cancelled, no one wants to get struck by lightning or hit by massive hailstones. So the question is, do you want to wait till there is proof that everything is happening because of climate change, or you just realize that everything is warm, everything is wet, and there is more energy, everything is happening in a warmer world, and hence risks are increasing, so you respond to the risks and say, let's be careful, and not wait for proof that every event was related or not to climate change. So here we are looking at no snow, and then you are seeing green slopes, and then seeing even higher. Well, heat waves also occur more often and can last longer now. This means more drought, more forest fires, and more deaths. During a long heat wave in 2003, there were 70,000 extra deaths in Europe. It means, on average how many people die during that time of the year, and suddenly the number of deaths is much higher by 70,000. Most of these people were in poor health, such as elderly people. They have the hardest time in hot temperatures, so don't just think about your pets during the next heat wave, but also about your grandparents. Make sure that they drink enough water, particularly if they live in a big city, and make sure they're not out in the heat on their own when there is a heat wave forecast or early warning. In a big city, it can easily be 5 degrees hotter than outside in the city. So you have to be careful because there is something called a heat island effect. How is that possible? Try feeling a wall as the sun has been shining on for a while. It'll stay warm for hours. So the buildings in a city hold on to a lot of heat during the day when sun is up, and the dark color of the plazas and the roads also make the city absorb more heat. Why? You know, the albedo. Low albedo, dark colors means less sunlight reflected, less wind develops between the buildings because it's a little constrained over there to cool things down. So people add a degree or two with their cars and their air conditioners and their bodies at 37 degrees. And in most cities there's not much water and not much greenery, which can create a cooling effect through evaporation. Remember, evaporation takes energy out and leaves the water or the surface cooler. Just like when you sweat, you feel cooler, right? So if you can, if you are a mayor of the city, now you know how to prepare your city for climate change. Make sure there is more shade, more wind, more greenery, more water, and less traffic, and paint all the roofs and roadsides white. Roads also white. Speaking of white, do you have any plans to go on a winter vacation? Then you really shouldn't leave it much longer. You should take vacations. Of course, traveling adds greenhouse gases as well, but hey, you need a vacation once in a while because the winters are getting warmer too, and so there's less snow falling in the mountains every year. Millions of people travel to the Rocky Mountains and Alps in the Europe for Rocky Mountains in the US and Alps in Europe for a bit of winter skiing. The seasons for skiing and the other snow sports is getting shorter though, and that's no fun. But the winter sports fans themselves have contributed to global warming as well, with those energy guzzling snow making machines to provide a lot of snow for the skiers, the traffic jams on the way to the resorts, and all the trees that were cut down to make places to ski. So the snow arrives later because the winter is arriving later, and it's arriving later and later and doesn't hang around for as long. Spring arrives early. Anyone who wants to ski or snow probably and properly has to go higher into the mountains, as you can see here. Some scientists studying the Alps in Europe predict that there won't be any ski lifts left there by the end of the century unless they leave a few for lazy alpine hikers. All the snow gone and all you can do there is hike. Should you worry about what is projected for the end of the century? What can you do about it? If you're the mayor or the president of the country, can you plan for 2100, and what can you do? Can you do alone something, or does the entire world have to do something together? These are the questions we have to answer, because climate change is changing everything. You emit carbon in one location, it affects climate everywhere else. You emit carbon dioxide, it gets around very quickly, and so on and so forth. So we are all in this together, so we all have to act together, as we will see later. Okay, so we'll come back and talk a bit more about food for everyone. So we are still talking about the climate impacts on all kinds of issues that affect our life directly. Simply drinking water, eating food, or more luxurious things like skiing. Traveling by air is very bad for climate. If it gets warm, you want to turn on the AC, but the AC is bad for climate change because the AC leaks the refrigerant, which is the coolant, which is a bad greenhouse gas. So we have created a mess that pretty much everything we do burns fossil fuels or it emits CO2 in other ways. Okay, so we have to do something about this, and we'll learn a bit more about the impacts, and then slowly we'll get to see what we can do and what people are doing about climate change. Okay, see you soon.